Pop culture feeds us a very specific storyline about love. We're told that finding a lasting partner relies entirely on chance, a mysterious, instantaneous spark that simply happens when the stars align. But look closely at human relationships, and the landscape is far less magical. Dating is actually a high-stakes territory filled with unknowns. Putting yourself out there carries a very real, quantifiable social risk of rejection. Our brains are intensely wired to prioritize security and avoid this exact type of social danger. The mind naturally wants to minimize the expenditure of wasted emotional energy whenever possible. Because of this deep-seated risk aversion, certainty becomes a rare and highly valued commodity in the social realm. We crave emotional safety over speculative gambles. To understand how profound bonds actually form, we have to put aside the fairy tale of magic. Instead, we need to examine how humans biologically maneuver to minimize social danger and secure a safe connection. When navigating this risky landscape, people generally fall into two distinct psychological approaches. The first is the seeker. This is someone who desires a deep connection and believes the only way to achieve it is through direct, intentional action. Their method is highly active. They start conversations, put their feelings on the line, and face inevitable rejections head-on, using each attempt as information to learn what they truly need in a partner. On the other end of the spectrum is the strategist, an archetype defined by a core operating principle: strategic passivity. Strategic passivity is a behavioral approach where an individual purposely holds back from initiating action to protect themselves from emotional vulnerability. The strategist tends to watch from afar. They're highly risk-averse, preferring to wait for a completely guaranteed outcome before committing any emotional resources. While these two approaches, relentless risk-taking and paralyzing caution, seem incompatible, they set the stage for a relationship where one person's strength directly addresses the other's deepest hesitation. The seeker's journey is rarely easy. It requires navigating a grueling process of trial and error, moving through failed connections and absorbing the emotional toll of constant active pursuit. Conventional dating norms often misinterpret this wide-ranging effort. Society tends to view someone who tries this hard as desperate, or assume their repeated attempts are a sign of social failure. Let's look at this through the eyes of the strategist, who is quietly observing the seeker's relentless efforts from a safe distance. A cognitive flip happens here. The strategist doesn't see desperation. They recognize an immense courage and a stubborn willpower, a resilience they feel they themselves lack. The seeker is effectively doing the terrifying, emotionally taxing labor of navigating social risk that the strategist actively goes out of their way to avoid. This persistence acts as a psychological filter. What might look like a social flaw to the outside world transforms into a highly valued demonstration of strength and character in the eyes of the cautious observer. Eventually, the paths converge. The seeker completes their wide search, bypasses all other options, and deliberately chooses to commit to the strategist. This graph shows what happens when the seeker introduces a massive data point of certainty, delivered through focused attention, a measurable psychological currency of consistent, high-quality engagement. By demonstrating unequivocal interest, the seeker collapses the social risk for the strategist. The unknowns of the dating landscape vanish. This provides a nearly 100% chance of validation. With the threat of rejection removed, the cautious brain of the strategist can finally relax its normal defensive filters. Focused attention fulfills a subconscious human need. We possess a longing to be truly seen, understood, and uniquely valued over anyone else. The seeker's targeted focus turns a terrifying, unknown social landscape into an irresistible guarantee of emotional security. It makes the path of least social resistance the absolute most attractive route to intimacy. Consider the seeker's long history of dating. It might be easy to assume the strategist feels like a second choice or a consolation prize after the seeker has explored many other paths. Instead, a phenomenon called reciprocal validation takes over. Reciprocal validation is a psychological process where both partners mutually affirm each other's distinct approaches to finding love. The strategist views the strategist's past as a rigorous process of discovery, a series of connections that helped clarify exactly what the seeker was looking for. This thorough process proves to the strategist that they are the exact right fit. It creates a powerful "I was chosen" feeling, which helps eliminate typical early relationship anxiety. And there's a return loop. The seeker's exhausting journey is finally validated and respected by a partner who admires their drive. They are seen as heroic for their effort, rather than judged for their past attempts. The brain then deploys cognitive biases to retrospectively justify the connection. It performs the necessary mental work to solidify the bond. Think of this bias as psychological cement. It solidifies the connection, affirming that choosing this validating partnership was the best possible decision. The most profound, enduring human bonds are the deliberate architecture built when relentless effort is met with deep, secure appreciation.